Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, power. Comrades, viva. Vice Chancellors, hi. Your Excellency, I have a few concerns concerning the new funding model and a few things related to the higher education funding. And I'll start right away by talking about the students who do the intra-school transfer. You know, once comrades, the Form 4s, or a student is done with the Form 4 education, and therefore the COOPS portal is open for application of the courses, and the universities, they are not aware of which courses. They are not aware of maybe which courses to apply for, and therefore they opt for any course. And they believe that on reporting to that university after the placement, they'll get to change their courses. But now this has become a problem, because on changing the programs, the funding, I don't know, the funding board or the government, an example of the 300 students in Pony University who transferred their courses, and therefore, up to now, their fee has never reflected. And I have a problem with why should the entire cost of the program reflect in a student's portal instead of the household obligation? The household contribution. Now we get to know that the government, due to failure to release the funds to the universities, these students are not able to do their exams. These students cannot access the university services. These students are held back from enjoying the privileges of the university, just as other students. I'd really love to hear you respond to that. Secondly, in Naivasha, with the PS, though she gave you a contrary opinion or conclusion, she told you that we agreed to everything, and we said that the model is really working, which was not true. Actually, we told her that for this model, if we have to stick to the new funding model, let us do away with Band 4 and Band 5. Because these are the problematic bands. They are the bands that are creating so many problems to the parents. In Pony University last week, we had students joining, and majority of them came with their parents. So you find that we are helping in the admission process, and the parent is coming thinking that I'm part of the administrators, crying that, oh, my student is placed in Band 4. My net worth is 0. What should I do? Na anatoa machozi. Really, Mr. President, I thought this government is for Mama Mboga and mtu ya boda boda. So what do we do to search, or rather to help such parents and students? Number 3, you said that if students can propose better ideas to make this model work, then I'm a social scientist. I can offer one. Now that my wise colleague there said that we have so many bursary kits in different dockets, starting from the MCA up to the presidential, your office also has a bursary. I don't know if that is true, but you know it yourself. So if we can constitute it into one kit and make education completely free, or reduce the cost of programs, that will be very appropriate, and this model will work. Number 2, I asked myself, now who sits back and decides that now this program is going to cost this much? Who? I think the Vice Chancellors and you know better. Do we have a fixed figure that should be the, lazima tu cost of the program, for example, medicine should cost this much? So we can reduce, right? So if we have a reduced cost of programs, and let's say, for example, you have those, maybe the impossibility of Band 4 and 5 being done away with, now we have Band 1, 2 to 5. We have students in Band 1 paying nothing, Band 2 paying nothing. Band 3, paying something. Band 4, paying something a little more than those in band 3. And band 5, paying the, that way this model will work. Mr. President, I can assure you. Thirdly, we've talked about the corruption in the institutions. We have this seat. Mtu akikwambia this seat costs $1 million. That's crazy. We have this thing called a procurement act or procurement something. Like each and everything has to be procured. We have those procurement officers. Those are the sources of corruption. Mr. President, if you have to do something, then start with doing away with those offices. How the hell can we have a seat here costing $1 million when we know the actual price? So can we have the Procurement Act done away with? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, my friend Omosh. Is that your name? Omosh? Omash? My name is Omar. Omar. Okay, Omar. Thank you. Let's take two. I am informed that we are running behind time, but I will take 2 more. Yes, my sister.
Okay, Kalen Karemi, the Vice Chair of the East African University. Mine is on what you have said about the private universities. For example, let me give you a case of myself. I studied in the village a day school. Let me recognize the school St. James Kiarida. At that time, when I managed to get a C+ to join the university, but when I was going to apply through the COOPs, my C+ could only admit me to a private university. So you find most people, the cluster point is high for the public universities. And yet, they will be, when they are going to apply, they will be placed in the private universities. And you have said you can't offer the scholarship. Right now, for me to pay the 19,000 that I'm paying in the private university I am, my parents are really struggling. That is for a fact. What if that parent of that student in the same case as mine, who is in a day school, is going to pay the same 80,000, 90,000? Will that student manage? That the student can't manage because the cluster point for the public university are that high. So what are you going to do about the cluster point? And then I'll go to question on the burden. We say, for example, a Maasai who stays at Narok. That person owns 100 cows. When I'm going to apply for that as where I studied in a day school, I'll be placed in band 1. And 100, you sell that cow for 50,000. The net worth of that person is 5 million. And that person will be placed in band 1. Reason being, the person is from the Maasai. They are known for those people who doesn't have, sorry to say that. Sorry to say that. And yet, that person, when that person doesn't have a KRA to feel about the parent when applying for the help or whatever, and yet that person net worth is 5 million, and that person will be placed at band 1. And then there's a case, someone from JQuad said that person is earning 25K. Are we fair on that? Yes, that is my question on the cluster point and the.
Thank you. Thank you, Karemi. I think we give this chance to a gentleman.
Thank you so much. I'm Vincent Tarus, the president Moi University, and I'm also a finalist doing medicine and surgery. Okay, thank you so much. Number one, Mr. President, I'm really not happy at how we were discussing figures of expensive courses. Yes, it's true that the government is paying a lot for students doing the expensive courses, but we also have to look at it from the student side. And these are the figures. I'm going to use figures for a student doing dentistry. And of course, with these figures, you could estimate those who are doing medicine, engineering, and all those expensive courses. A student in band 1, the one who is very vulnerable, is going to pay 39,000 shillings. Remember that at the moment, we are paying less than that. We are paying 32,000, 33 up to 40, and now a student in band 1 is going to pay 39,000. My cue, the conception of the new funding model is on the basis of assisting the poor. Number 2, a student in band 2 is going to pay 78,000 shillings. A student in band 3 is going to pay 156,000. A student in band 4 is going to pay 234,000. And a student in band 5, 312,000. Now, already we can see and have the impression that expensive courses, or rather, the courses that are expensive to offer will only be for the rich. Because we can all agree that a student in band 2, band 1, band 3, and band 4, they are all poor. Now, who are going to afford these courses? Mr. President, when we had a meeting at State House, you said that you're going to put a ceiling over which the vulnerable are going to pay. Yes, that is only going to sort those who are in band 1. I'm assuming it will be way less than 39,000. Now we have sorted those ones. What about the majority? Because, Mr. President, the majority of students are in band 4 with a figure of 47%. If I can use figures of last year's group. These are the figures I got from HELB, that of 113,000 students who applied, 47% are in band 4. And I can use as a case in my school, Mr. President. We have students who, up to now, they were just allowed to do the exam without paying fees. But really, the truth is, they won't be able to pay these fees come end of year examinations. And what will be the fate of schools that we are so much trying to salvage? We are going to have so many dropouts, Mr. President. And these figures I'm using is for the School of Dentistry. Now we have the School of Engineering and the School of Medicine, the School of Nursing. I thank you, Professor, for the figures. But the figures are too high. And this dream is only going to be for the rich. Now, Mr. President, because we value consultation, I'm going to propose an affirmative action that we have to scrap off the idea that these courses are for the rich. If these courses were for the rich, Mr. President, I don't think you'll be standing there where you are right now. And I don't think all these dignitaries will be seated there where they are right now if these courses were for the rich. Now, allow me to propose an affirmative action that we give more scholarship to these courses so that everyone can be able to afford. The children of the peasant farmers, the children of the poor, the mamamboga, that this administration was built in, allow us to have something, allow them an ability to dream of these courses and pursue them. The issue of loans, Mr. President, that has been spoken about enough. The reason why we are rejecting this new funding model, Mr. President, is because we feel the burden of loans on our backs at the moment. I could only imagine those who would join after us and the generations to come. Yes, you said, Mr. President, that it is better to have loans and educated than not having loans and educated, and not having loans and non-educated. But those are not the two options that we have, Mr. President. We can have a discussion of how we can balance both so that we can come up with a system that values everyone, a system that accommodates everyone. And until then, Mr. President, allow me to reject this new funding model respectfully.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tarus. I don't know. Let me answer those questions. I think they are quite a buffet.
Mr. President, I've been given one last concern. Okay, it reads,
Yes.
Please, okay, the issue of student independence and admin stepping on student leaders. I think this is addressed to all our vice chancellors, the management of our schools. Kindly allow student leaders to run the activities with the autonomy that they deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tarus. Let me start with Mongezi from Murang'a University. I think, she suggested that why don't we consolidate all bursaries? The ones for the MCA, Member of Parliament, Women Rep, Governor. Somebody suggested that I have some bursary. I don't have. Just for the record, I don't have any bursary kitty. In fact, when I was